welcome to Mondays with Max. Good to see you all. Well, virtually see you all anyway. Well, let's see who is here. We have Steven Cicero, who was first. And yes, I am still the first one who was able to say his name correctly on the internet. Anyway, Big 8 Mining, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Crypto Crag, Canadian Miner, Second TL Mining. Good to see you, sir. And thanks for your help with all this Vast.ai stuff. He has been extremely helpful with his Linux knowledge. Paddywhack Miner, good to see you. Glad I can make your Tuesday mornings more bearable. Galaxy 9 Synthesis, 4J, Lestadog C57, Automatic Beats, Iowa Crypto Mining. I already said Crypto Crag. Sorry. Let's see. Burn, Tim I Am Crypto, Integra Guy 041, DJ Mines 22's in the house, Kirk McIntyre, Bacon Eggs and Hash, Tommy Coin 369 Mining Crypto, Travelers Travels, Brian Hollywood is here. Let's see here. Dakota Miner, Reyes Mining, and that is everybody. So thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate all my members. Thank you guys all for being here. I very much appreciate it. All right, let's get into it. So let me talk a little bit about my weekend. Give some people to get some time to get in here, but built my third Vast.ai rig, although it was a computer that was already built. It's the one over my left shoulder. That was my FlexNode server, which had an AMD 2700 in it, or Ryzen 7 2700 in it. So it had 8 cores, which handled the nodes perfectly. But no, I think we're fine. If you guys are having any issues with lag, let me know. According to YouTube, it says I have excellent connection. So anyway, so 2700, but obviously I need 2 cores for each of the Flux nodes, and I have 4 Flux nodes on that. So went to a 5950X, which is complete overkill for it, but I couldn't find any other 16-core processors or even 12-core processors that was going to be any less than I was going to be able to find a used 5950X. 3950X, I could not find one that was cheaper than that. They were actually more expensive. Not really sure why, but anyway, bought a 5950X for $320. Bought a 3090 for $500, and then had various other things I needed to do. One was I needed to upgrade. I had a Wraith Spire on it. Tried using a Noctua, I think DH9. It's just too small for a 5950X. So I ended up buying a $32.90, a $33. Oh shoot, what's it called? Thermaltake Peerless Assassin. Couldn't remember what it was. Anyway, but so put that on there. Now the CPU is very happy with cooler temps. So that was good. And what else did I have to do? I had to order more memory. So instead of being 32 gig, it's 64 gig. So that gives me 32 gig for the Vast.ai instance. And I'll talk about how I have it installed in there. Like I said, bought a hard drive, an SSD hard drive, 1 terabit. And basically all in, I was right around $900, between $900 and $1,000 to upgrade it. Figuring at 15 cents, well, let's even say like 12 cents a day, which is very, very conservative as long as it's rented. But 0.12 times 24 times 30 times 12. So that's going to make about a little over $1,000. So it pays itself off in less than a year, which in these days I mean, actually, it's seriously, any investment that you can break even on in less than a year is a good investment in my book. Obviously, not as good as the 3 months if you're first in on an ASIC, a brand new ASIC, or or in the great mining days where you're able to do things, able to pay things off really quickly. Second TL says, what's the temps on the new cooler running on Flux and Vast? Well, let me, I think this might be the other one. No, I will definitely not dox myself. Oh no, that is the right one. So the other thing I did tonight, which was a big oops, I was putting the glass cover back on that computer tonight, and in the process hit the power button. Oops. So anyway, typically it's running if it's currently being subscribed to, it basically runs about 65 just because of the actual GPU in there, and the airflow is pretty good in there. The problem is that it's blowing against a wall that's about that far away, so it not ideal. That computer is gonna end up in the basement within a week. Sunflower Mama had already said, is it gonna make that noise all the time? Because it pretty much sounds like it's gonna take off, because the 3090s, the EVGA for the Win 3 fans are at 100%, keeping the thing at about 88, 89. Not ideal, but heading into cooler weather, it'll run very happily down in the basement where it is an even 70 degrees or less, and we'll have a lot more room to breathe, as opposed to being in the corner over there. So that'll be getting moved. So I'll have to fix my setup a little bit, but maybe a little bit less distraction in the background as well. But anyway, so talking a little bit how I have that set up. So my Flux nodes were already set up on a Proxmox server, and it was set up with 7.3.3. Actually, technically 7.3-3. Anyway, so I had to upgrade that to Proxmox 8 in order to get all of the improvements to their PCIe pass-through. So did all that of doing all the upgrades. I did all that last week of getting into 8.0. It was actually remarkably simple. I was kind of stuck on the fact that I thought maybe I would try and back up all my Flux nodes. And I was kind of like, what's the point? Plus, second TL actually had one of his mess up, so he had to redo it anyway. So I'm like, if I have to redo them, I have to redo them. I'm just going to go for it. And everything went really well. So we were good there. I headed up to 8.0. And then this weekend, like I said, I made all the hardware changes. And the best thing about Proxmox is it doesn't care unless you're downgrading a spec. If you're only increasing, like you're increasing the amount of memory, you're increasing the number of cores, it doesn't care. All it cares about is that do I have enough of this stuff? And obviously I was just increasing the capacity of everything. So all the Flux nodes, once I installed everything and got through some issues with the BIOS, anytime you change the CPU in a computer, the BIOS is going to complain a little bit. And for some reason on this computer, this, I guess, is a known thing with the Asus Prime boards, is that sometimes the CPU fan comes up as like with an error. And so I just put that to ignore, and away it went. And CPU's been nice and cool, so that's not an issue. Have it set on turbo anyway, so it's running, good speed on the fans. But once I got past all that, it was pretty much clear sailing of getting everything running. Sunflower Mama says, it isn't that loud, but it reminds me of when they would spin up and then crash. Just wanted to know if it was supposed to sound like that. Well, I was simply stating the way I thought it sounded. It sounded like it was going to take off. It just does. It's pretty loud. Anyway, and it kind of goes up and down because it's running something diffusion. I forget what that's called, but anyway, it was running that at the time. So it kind of has this saber tooth type of graph of on again, off again. So the temperature does vary, like between about 84°C and 89°C, something like that. So definitely is using it full bore, no doubt. But anyway, it's been working really well, and it has kind of got me thinking about, as I deploy more of these things, how I might be doing it, because I think it's Simple Diffusion. Anyway, it can only run on one GPU right now. So I think single GPU rigs may be the way to go, but there's starting to be a lot of them. So maybe it won't be, I don't know. My thought was that if I can get a high PCIe lane motherboard with, Epic processor, that type of thing, at a good price, that maybe I could do the same sort of thing where I put the Proxmox software on it and virtualize the whole thing, and I'll have like 4 instances on the same motherboard. Key thing is you got to invest in some PCIe cables, because if you're going to have them all running like that, you're going to have to make sure that they have a decent amount of airflow. So got to move them apart from one another. Similar to the way that Panda has his setup on his mining rig, on his mining frame, I should say. I think that that's a really good setup for setting up something similar to that. So anyway, I'm really liking this journey, this AI journey, and let me kind of take you back to the beginning of the bear market. Well, it's actually more taking you back to about a couple months before the Ethereum merge. And my thought all along was, yes, mining's great, love crypto, but what are we doing here? We all enjoy hardware, and we all enjoy people are in it for more than just the money, are in it because they like tinkering, they like learning, they enjoy the hardware. That's me. That's what I like. So back then I was thinking, hey, this is a piece of hardware that has more use than just crypto mining and gaming. It has a processing use. The question is there going to be the central marketplace, shall we say, for somebody to take advantage of that? And way back when, obviously Flux had already, coined the phrase proof of useful work, but I was kind of thinking bigger than that. I was thinking more dedicated marketplaces that are only just that. And Argon Strider says, use Nvidia SMI to lock the core on the GPU and you can run cooler and for less power. Yes, but the problem with that is then the customer is going to be getting less than what they expected, and they will stop and go somewhere else. So that's kind of the issue. Now, what I should do, I would like to test this out. So it's not a bad idea, but that was my thought. But what you can do, and maybe that's the reason why, I noticed that my 3090 rig had a higher DL perf score than others. So I'm wondering if some of the other people have actually done something similar to that, so that their DL perf score is going to come up less, but they can run cooler. Anyway, it's a thought. Am I reading from a teleprompter? No, I'm not reading from it. Does it really sound like I'm reading from a teleprompter? This is all off the cuff. Only thing I have is 4 topics. That's all. And right now I'm totally off on a tangent from one of the topics, because the topic is Vast.ai. But anyway, so I'd been thinking about this all along. So obviously Vast.ai has been around for a long time. It's been around since about 2019. I just didn't know about it. So I'm sitting here thinking, why isn't somebody doing this when they already were? And but I also look at it from this standpoint. I said this on Saturday Night Live as well, which is, we're at the very beginning of this technology shift. Think about where Bitcoin was. And we're 4 years, maybe 5 into AI. Bitcoin, basically first started 2008, 2009, and maybe we're at the somewhere in the 2012 to 2015 range. So there, I believe, is a lot of profit to be made in the future. We haven't hit the bull run of AI. I think it's still ahead of us. There's still a lot of development and advancement to come through, which we already had an announcement. I'll go over that in a little bit, but we've already had an announcement that will help increase processing of certain AI workloads. And when we say AI, it's machine learning, rendering. It's kind of an all-encompassing term. It's a term that basically, how do you use, what are the different uses of a compute resource, whether it be CPU or GPU, or enterprise GPU, which really isn't graphics at all. It's just processing. So anyway, I'm really excited to see where this goes. I'm not abandoning crypto by any means, but I like the fact of diversifying. I mean, you've seen me do that with Hive Mapper, Demo, Helium, Crank, and I know I'm missing a few, but Pre with nodes. That might be all of them. But anyway, I've diversified away from just mining, but still focused on crypto. So anyway, just some thoughts that were running through my head. And, like I said, totally enjoying this guy, having some fun with it, and continuing to learn. I have been asked by more than one person to put a video together on how to do PCI pass-through on Proxmox. I will put something like that together. Not sure exactly when, but I got a couple things coming up. Probably going to do the fundraising stream. This is ovarian cancer month, and for those that don't know, my wife has been afflicted with it. She is in remission. She got it caught in stage 2, which is good. It means that she has a high probability of survivability. So we are very positive about her outlook, but most others are not so lucky. And anyway, I will be doing a live stream, probably a 12-hour live stream. I don't think I'm gonna make it 24 hours, but we'll see. Might do 24 hours. But that will be not this weekend, but next weekend. So the weekend before the Flux conference, Cypherpunk. So that is my plan, because that will give me a day to kind of recover, because I have the whole next week off. So, and I don't know exactly what my flights are. I'm hoping I can figure that out tonight to see what my flights to Fort Lauderdale are going to look like. Anyway, that is so please keep that in mind. I'll probably be doing it on Sunday, not Saturday, since there's so many other streams on Saturday. There's fewer streams on Sunday, so I won't overlap with quite as many people, but maybe we can kind of do a dual stream with some of the people, so we can kind of do some things together maybe. Anyway, we'll see. I'll definitely be having guests on, no question. I already talked to a few people about being on, so excited about it. Excited about what we can do. My goal is to hit $10,000 fundraising for I looked through a bunch of them, and it was the National Ovarian Cancer Institute, I think is what it was. But I was looking for a well-rated charity, and that to me appeared to be the best rated and actually got results. The big thing that they're focused on is early detection. So anyway, but that's for that stream. All right, let me see what other comments. Gaming with Smokey Dan said, oh, Geyser says, is it a possibility you are AI? So that brings up a interesting philosophical question, because if I was, but I didn't know that I was, does that make me self-aware? But I am self-aware of myself. I don't know. I suppose we all could be. I'll be organic AI. Anyway, the things that make you go, Gaming with Smokey Dan said, I saw a video of a guy 3D printing parts to direct airflow over parts in a PC case. Was interesting. For only that case and card plus CPU cooler was based off an Audi. Interesting. Interesting. Crypto Crack says, are you conducting a cypherpunk panel discussion? I might be. There were some discussions about that. I'm there as, I guess, kind of the talent, but nobody's really specifically asked me exactly what will be going on, because it also depends on who's going. Anyway, somewhere or another, I'm sure I'll be on something. Some type of speaker would be my guess. Just not sure what at this point. Alrighty. I am awake. I took a nap though when I came home from work. I had to. So today, we had an ASI audit. So what that is every food grade warehouse has to go through an audit every single year. And the audit is extremely detailed. You have to have all of your ducks in a row. So there's obviously a lot of preparation to it, but there's always some last minute things that need to get figured out. So I had to get to work at 5 a.m. just to make sure that all of that was straightened out. And yeah, it was a long day. So when I got home from work, ate dinner, then took about an hour nap from about 6 to 7, then kind of woke up, and now I'm fully awake. So anyway, so yes, I'm awake. Ted said, did you see iNodes will have Neoxa nodes like they have Firo and REM nodes? RTM nodes. Yes. I did not see that actually. Although I should have seen that, because I actually pulled up iNodes this evening just to see like how much my approximately 75,000 Raptorium was worth a whopping $60. Yeah. Oh well. Gaming with Smoky Dan says, do a TED talk and make sure everyone is on the anyways drinking game. Put 150 anyways in your speech and make sure it is recorded. Nice. I like that idea. Believe me, if you put me on like a script, I won't even say them. But in natural speaking, I will say them. So no, don't put me on a script. It'll naturally come out. I don't know if it'll come out to 150, but it'll be a lot. It'll definitely be a lot. You should work on that. Yes, I probably should. See, this would be like where I would normally say the word, but I'm suppressing it. So let's move on to a more fun topic. Anybody see that Bitboy was canceled? Canceled, I say. That was total clickbait. Anyway, he and the Hit Network, it appears, came to an agreement that the Bitboy name will just go away. The Hit Network said, we're not going to be using the Bitboy name at all. They have changed their channel to Discovery Crypto or something like that. And who was previously known as Bitboy, Ben Armstrong, is now going by Ben Armstrong as he goes his separate way and creates his own channel. What is really, really sad about this is I noticed Ben Armstrong has had his YouTube channel for, I don't know, a few days now. He already has 35,000 subscribers. I can't even get to 4. Anyway, obviously he had a lot of subscribers that once they found out he had a new channel, obviously they went over. So, but yeah, I looked at that and I was just like, oh, man, subscribers aren't everything. I love all you guys. You guys are my dedicated Monday nighters. So I appreciate all you guys who are here week in and week out And welcome to the newcomers. I did see a few people that I hadn't seen before. So, all right. That was just kind of interesting to see that they both sides came out with official announcements. Today's was the Hit Network's official announcement, where they keep, the Hit Network's like, we're not going to talk. We had to do the move we did. You can see from what Ben has said that you now understand part of why we had to do what we did. So I think Ben's holding back because he's embarrassed, which is understandable. People make mistakes and do stupid things, and especially when you're on, drugs that affect your personality. Yeah, not good. So he's probably pretty embarrassed by some of the things he did. Now that he is hopefully getting that under control, and I did find it interesting because he mentioned that he would be, he didn't quite put it in these terms, but a kindler, gentler Ben while still being Ben. Thought it was interesting. It certainly made me think maybe I'll go back to watching him, because there was one point where I did like watching him, but he had gotten so extreme, and not really extreme, but just, I don't know, just triggered so easily. So hopefully he can get back to who he was. He always used to have a really good sense of humor, and to me he just became angry. And I don't like the angry Ben Armstrong. I like the happy-go-lucky, funny, don't take things ever so seriously all the time Ben Armstrong. So hopefully he can get back to being that guy. In my opinion, I think he'll be happier. I think his viewers will be happier. So just my 2 cents. And the Mining King in with the $1.99 super chat, building a vast rig, listening to Max. Well, thank you, Mining King, for being here. I was actually thinking about having you come on the show, but I ran late and didn't happen. And you're building a vast rig anyway, so you probably wouldn't have wanted to come on anyway. But yeah, I got to figure out what my next ones. I still have, well, now I have an extra processor. I have another motherboard to use. So now I got to figure out which card I'm going to use and build maybe I'll do a 3060 this time. But I kind of wanted to do I don't know. I'll probably do a 3060 this time just to see how it does with the 12, since it does have 12 gigs of VRAM. Because I know the 3070 more often than not is CPU mining. It very rarely, if ever, actually, now that I think about it, has used the GPU. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I might take that one down. Yeah, I don't know. There's a couple things I could do. I could make that rig a 23060 rig. So it'd be a 2x3060 and just make one instance out of it on Proxmox. Because I have two 8 PCIe 3.0 8 PCI lane slots, because it's an X470 board. So I could do that and then just move the 4070 into its own rig. Actually, the 4070 would be on a PCI 4.0. No, it wouldn't, because I'd be using, I don't know. I might. So one of the things I'm doing for the stream for the fundraiser is I'm giving away a computer. So I might use the 2700 for that build instead of the 5600X. The reason for it is 5600X has the PCIe 4.0, but has fewer cores. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still kind of playing around with that a bit. All righty. So we've talked about Bitboy. We have talked about Vast.ai, and there is what's the best CPU to use for Vast.ai? I would say there really isn't a best CPU. Honestly, I have seen a wide variety. It really just depends on the workload. Again, like I said, I could have done a 5900X, but I was getting a 5900X for $10 less than a 5950X. To me, it didn't make any sense. So that's why I went with the 16 core instead of the 12 core. But there's people on there that have 4090s and they're doing it on a 4-core processor. So you can do that. To me, I would think at least a 6-core, but I don't know. I don't know enough. That's one of the things that's going to be really, really interesting to see once Flux makes it available to everyone, makes the benchmark available to everyone. I think that will be really interesting. I think that's a tool that we haven't seen. And like Vast.ai, while it has its own marketplace and it is not associated with crypto at all, but it doesn't have a tool per se that says, hey, you've got something that's good for this type of workload or this type of workload. It just doesn't do that. Obviously, the more cores you have and the higher the GPU, the higher end the GPU is, the more attractive you look to somebody who's looking to actually use your rig. A lot of times, a lot of mining people will take the CPU and the GPU and mine both. I've seen that. Well, you actually have seen that on Mining King's video when he had Nexa being mined, as well as I think that was also where he had Cubic being mined, if I remember correctly. Travelers Travels celebrates 6 months of membership. I just picked up a couple of Sapphire Pulse RX 6600 XTs for 150 each, slowly growing the farm. Well, congrats, man. That's awesome. And thank you for being a member for 6 months, of course. Yeah, interesting. I mean, obviously, this is the time to be building up your farm. And that's one of the advantages why I love Vast.ai, because you can actually be buying hardware right now with the main purpose of making money. So not like, hey, I'm going to buy GPUs because they're going to appreciate in value. I may have them sit right now, but they'll appreciate in value and I'll be able to make money out of them in the bull run. Well, neither of those is wrong. But the best part is that you can still put them to work and make money with them using Vast.ai or some other AI marketplace. I don't know if anybody, maybe Retro Mike has, but I don't know if anybody has actually tried putting something to work on Clore. And there's a bunch of other ones. I know RunPod, we talked about that on Saturday Night Live as well. They have a marketplace, but it's very kind of closed. You have to have at least 12 GPU rigs. It's much more involved. Geek of all trades, member for 14 months. Awesome, man. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate it. Yes, Sunflower Mama is definitely the best producer in the biz. No question. That's why I asked her to do it. She says at least on the block. Yeah, whatever. No, she's awesome. Appreciate it. She keeps me in line. Yeah. She just said not financial advice. Yard tries this, says, has the Vast.ai setup process gotten smoother and user friendly? If you know the right people who can give you the best instructions, yeah, it's pretty easy. It's pretty darn easy. You just basically go through the script from A to Z and you're done. The key is that making it install. And that was one of the nice things about using Proxmox, was I could use one disk, but I can make it look like 2 disks within the virtualization. You basically say, okay, I got this disk over here with these 100 gig, and it's different than partitions. That actually looks like 2 separate disks. So anyway, but yeah, doing that has helped a lot. Yeah. And once you get it the first time, the second time is easier, and the third time is a lot easier, and the fourth, I'm imagining, will be even easier than that. You kind of know what you're doing. And like I said, the first time I did the Proxmox, I was like, oh man, this is going to be really hard. But now I know what to do to get the the PCI pass-through working correctly. And it's been proven. I've seen the 3090 do the work. Because somebody was saying that they didn't think that the PCI pass-through, even though I was able to get it on Vast.ai, whether it would work, but it's been proven it does work, which is pretty cool. Geek of all trades says, let's build a bash script to set up a Vast rig when I get my rigs up and running this week. Hey, that works for me. That definitely works for me. Paddywhack Miner says, if it wasn't for trial and error, I'd have nothing to do every evening and weekend and could have a normal family life. Yeah, but trial and error is fun. You learn so much. Like I said, you learn so much when things don't work. Because when everything works, you're like, how did I do that? It just was easy. And now I don't remember what the heck I did. But when things don't work along the way, you remember what you did to fix those things. Like I said, the first time I set up Proxmox to do Vast.ai, I didn't realize that I had that all of the instances of Proxmox default to secure boot. Well, you can't have secure boot with PCI pass-through. So when it went to go install the Nvidia driver, it failed. I'm like, what the heck? I knew that I had secure boot disabled on the motherboard, but it had nothing to do with the motherboard. It had everything to do with the actual VM virtual machine, because it has its own BIOS, which sometimes isn't always easy to get into. So, but once I was able to get into it, find the secure boot and disable it, and we were all good. So let's see. Wow, lots of questions coming up here. Joker Miner says, sorry, I'm late playing these dumb games Max Voltage got me into. Yeah. So free cash has been good for a couple of these games. Coin Master is one I would say is especially good. Just have to not, they're really good at trying to sucker you into buying bonuses, and that'll just take away from the money you'd actually be making. So good thing is Coin Master, I'll have to double check, either tonight or tomorrow night would be the last time I could play it and still get to the next level and get paid for it. I'm not in these to continue playing these games. I'm into for the money and then deleting them from my phone. So that is a lot of these. I mean, honestly, the Coin Master is like a fidget toy. It is highly addictive. I recognize it. And so, yeah, I will cut it off. Absolutely cut off that particular application, that game. So Family Island is the one I'm currently playing. That one is getting to the point where for me, it's really hard to get to the next level. I've got about, I think, 5 days to get to level 24 to get the next payout. It's like $6 or something. But anyway, after that one's done, because I won't have time to get to the next level after that. Anyway, these are the types of things that, like, if you have a job where you have like downtime where you can just do a few things and let it go. But I don't have that at work. I'm go from the time I arrive to the time I leave. There is no break. A lot of times don't get a lunch. So anyway, any other comments? S Chang said, can you close Vast.ai HDD and build identical rigs with cloned hard drives? Well, yeah, SDs. You know what? I haven't tried that. Yeah, I don't know. Trying to think of if that would work. I know that there's a point at where you have to do a command in order to. No, but that command's the same. It's basically just identifying. It's not identifying the machine. I don't know. That's a good question for Mining King, possibly. Well, good for you, Mining King. 8 rigs on Vast, all rented, including the one I made yesterday. Well, good for you. I've got one that's not. out of the three, except one of them stopped. So whoever was on it was like, well, then screw you, and left. I don't blame them. So hopefully that one gets up and running, but I can tell by the fact that it's not humming away behind me. It is not doing anything. Let me actually bring up Vast.ai real quick. Look at hosting, start hosting. Okay, I'm logged in, machines. Yeah, I only have one rented out of the three right now. I did increase the price on my 3090 to what I think was like the average, and that might be the reason why it's not rented. I wanted to see if I could get it rented, and also I didn't mind raising it because I was kind of like, well, at least it won't be like loud for the live stream. So wanted to see for that reason as well. But it's up to, I just put it online Saturday, Sunday. No, no, I was trying to remember when I put it online. No, it was Saturday. It was Saturday night. I got it online. And was it Sunday? No, it was Sunday. Yeah, it was yesterday. It had to be yesterday because that's when I got the cooler. I got the cooler like around 4:00 yesterday. So then as soon as I got it, I put it on. So last night it was up and running. So yeah, so it's up to 87% reliability already. So not too shabby. My other ones are at 98.4 and 98.1. The one at 98.1 is the one that's rented. That's the 4070. And that's been rented like, and that one is getting, I don't want to say hammered. It's 66 degrees on the GPU. But whoever's using that is using it, which is nice. So, but anyway, it's a balancing act of price. It's not like mining where you just set it and forget it. You're constantly working within the market you have and making, it's a market of supply and demand. So if there's a huge amount of demand, which right now the supply exceeds the demand. So yeah. All right. Let me okay, we'll go to that thing last. So the other thing I wanted to bring up was the fact that anybody else mining Radiant on Mining King's pool? We had 3 Radiant blocks today on that pool. Woohoo! So with my hash rate, which I forget what it is. What is my hash rate on that? Hold on. It's like around 14, 15, something like that, gigahash. Anyway, I make whenever out of the 50,000 on his pool, a 50,000 Radiant block, I get just over 3,000. So 3,000 is a little over $5. So with those 3 blocks, made $15. Yeah, it was a profitable day. I mean, power costs $3-4 at the most. So yeah, it was a good day. Good day. So definitely happy about that. Okay. Sorry, I heard some noise in the background. I was like, you okay? That was the wife though. That was not the daughter. And actually, good news, daughter loves her new job. She got a new job, started last week. So yeah, she is in a good place. So I'm very, very happy about that. Anybody who has adult kids, you know what I'm talking about. You love it when your kids are in a good place when it comes to work. Always like that. So yeah, they appreciate her. They recognize her talents. Yeah, it's nice. Very nice. All right. Well, the last thing, in fact, I want to share my screen, is the thing about, and this is just another thing that got announced this week by Nvidia regarding AI, was the Nvidia TensorRT-LLM. And LLM stands for large language model, which is like Chat GPT, those types of things. Let me share my screen. Maybe. Share screen. Entire screen and that one. Screen 2. Yes, that one. And then add to scene. There we go. So Nvidia TensorRT-LLM supercharges large language model inference on Nvidia H100 GPUs. Now you're like, okay, H100 GPUs, what does this have to do with us miners? Well, I don't know if it says it in this article, but this will be able to be used as on cards as old as Ampere generation cards. So theoretically, you should be able to use this technology on the 3000 series as well as the 4000 series cards. So, and this is like doubling, at least on the H100, it's doubling its Tensor Core performance. So that would, just with software, to be able to do that is pretty amazing. So right now, this is in beta. In fact, if you were interested, if Retro Mike were here, this might be something he may want to look into, or maybe Goat possibly. But looking into actually using the actual TensorRT-LLM to, I don't know, do its thing. Feel like I'm on Independence Day, you know, so you guys can do your thing. No, I can put it. I can put a link to it. So for those people, why was somebody asking for it? Yeah, a couple of oh, okay. Yeah, I can definitely. Oh, there we go. Joker Miner just posted it. There is the link to all of Mining King's pools. So check them out. I've been happy on them. I mean, I only did the Radiant pool because I don't have any interest in Neox. I think it is Neox. Not sure what else. But yeah, check it out. I like it. It's kind of, it at least makes as much as mining on a regular pool, but it has the added feature of kind of like being solo mining. It's kind of like hybrid. When you mine on a small pool, you're going to get fewer payouts. It should average out in the end, but it's just kind of fun because those days where you get three blocks, you're like, yeah, this is awesome. And then you got the days where you're like, man, it's been like 4 or 5 days since we got a block because we just have lousy luck. That's just luck. That's the way. It's the way the cookie crumbles. All right, but this is kind of cool stuff. I'm kind of really curious to see. But anyway, there is a beta release. Let's go back to the other one, and so it's for a couple different things. So 8 times increase from the A100, obviously H100 to, I don't even know why they said 8 times increase, because that's like comparing different hardware. It's the H100 with and without. It's double, but that's just marketing for you. And then on the higher Llama 2 inference performance, you're going from 2.6 to 4.6, so it isn't quite double, but still a huge increase. And then evidently energy improvements as well, energy efficiency improvements. So that's cool too, meaning that the cost is lower to operate it like that. Excuse me. Let me see if there's a space where, here, actually, let me do a search. Ampere. Where it talks about Ampere. These innovations have been integrated into the open source NVIDIA TensorRT-LLM software available for Ampere, Lovelace, and Hopper GPUs. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm trying to remember. What's the generation? Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the generation is. Because Ampere is 3000 series, right? No, I'm trying to remember. Let me do hashrate.no, because one of the things I do like about this site is, yeah, so, oh, that's Ada Lovelace. Okay, I forgot. Yeah, so Ampere and Ada Lovelace. And then Hopper is the one that actually comes after that. So all three of those should be able to theoretically take advantage of that. Let's see what other, oh, that's 2 of 2. Where's the 1 of 1? I was trying to look to see where else it was on the sheet, but I'm not seeing where it's highlighted. All right. Anyway, that's what I wanted to show, was that it's available for Ampere and Lovelace, Ada Lovelace. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. Alrighty, well, I've been going almost an hour. Anybody have any questions? Because that was pretty much everything I had planned on going over tonight. Yeah. Joker miner on hero miners. Got it. I just caught that Gaming with Smokey Dan was putting drinks in the chat every time I said that word.
He's only been doing it like every day for months.
I know, I never noticed it before. I always look for the highlighted. Let's see. Oh my gosh, at the very beginning I was doing it a lot. Yeah. Alrighty, well, let's see who else showed up. Thought I saw Chump Change here. Was he here?
He was here.
Oh, yep, there he is. Making comments. Hey, careful, I'm gonna steal your subject. And I'll go on for another hour. Not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say the word. I'm sure I will, but I will not say it on purpose. My record was around 50-ish. Okay, so you were over exaggerating when you said put 150 of them in. Yes, Chum Change is the boss. He's like that soft-spoken boss who you think, yeah, he's such a nice guy. You guys don't see what happens in the background. Yeah, he's a slave driver. Absolute slave driver. Anyway, I just did it. There you go. Are you happy now? I hope you're all happy now. 4 more years / hours. Yeah, we will not be. Yes, Geek of all trades. He's a wicked pissa. It was hilarious on Saturday Night Live because you can tell as it gets on in the stream and he gets a little tired, the Boston comes out. The Boston comes out.
Like
he is here. We talked about it on Saturday Night Live.
Talking about him like he's not.
Oh, well, I don't know. I didn't think I was doing that. But anyway, see that she got that anyway out of me. All right, veteran miners here. Who else is here? Joker miner. I already talked to him earlier. Ray is mining. Maybe I'll start ending my streams with everybody who's here. It is harder because there's a lot more people here. A lot more people here. That is true. Some people do leave. But I will say, so Chump, I don't know when he's going to publish a particular video, but he's got a great video that's going to be coming out. And Geek of All Trades, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I'm looking forward to watching where he did a TP-Link. I forget what it was called, but it's basically kind of like an Ubiquiti controller, but it's a TP-Link controller. And he put that into a Linux container. So I'm curious to see that video as well. I'm still going to try to put an Ubiquiti controller in a Linux container on my MikroTik. So looking forward to doing that. I will say the one thing I am not totally thrilled about with the MikroTik is the Wi-Fi coverage. I was spoiled with the TP-Link. So I may, since the TP-Link router that I have has such great coverage, I may make that an access point. And probably put it not very far away from the original one, actually. I'm not sure yet, but that's kind of where I'm leaning towards. I'm actually thinking about putting it right back where that computer is. Since I already have an Ethernet cable back there and I have power back there. So yeah, I think that now I'm thinking about it, I may do that. Because like I said, the Wi-Fi coverage in the house has not been anywhere near as good as it was. But that's for another day. Yeah, I got one offer for. I didn't put it on OfferUp, and I've thought about putting it on OfferUp, but I got one offer from Facebook Marketplace. It was an offer for $125. I'm like, no, I'm not selling it for $125. It's worth it to me to keep it for $125 and just use it as an access point. So that is probably what I'm going to do. I was trying to see actually, because somebody said you can do this, is set up that particular router as a wireless access point, meaning that put it close enough, like kind of similar to like a wireless repeater, but still set up as an access point. The difference is that the backhaul would be wireless on one 5G link, and then you could use the other 5G link and the 2.4 gig just as your Wi-Fi at that point. But I haven't been able to figure out how to set that up. But that'd be pretty cool if you could do that. So I did read somewhere where you could, it just didn't give instructions on how to do it. So when I went into the routing software, I could not figure out how to configure it that way. So I may do some more research on that and see what I can do. But most likely it will just be set up as a wired access point to increase the coverage. Because man, that TP-Link has some awesome coverage. And it's interesting because there's been some discussion in the MikroTik forums about the coverage of their Wi-Fi. And basically, without actually saying it, they basically accuse other companies of using too much power. MikroTik stays within the guidelines of the government when it comes to the power coming out of their units. Not all companies do. So I'm kind of curious. Maybe TP-Link is putting out more power, possibly. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Argon Strider says any Wi-Fi access point that requires a separate power plug is doing it wrong. PoE for life. Yeah, I actually thought about. I actually do have a access point, an Ubiquiti access point, and I do have a PoE switch in the basement. So I have seriously thought about putting a access point in the basement, but nobody's really in the basement that needs Wi-Fi. So, and we did before, but Gaming Smoking Dan says, wait, only 4 tabs open? This is AI Max. All right. This is my, have you never been here before? This is my stream window. So I have a lot fewer tabs. When I have a dedicated stream video. Basically after it, I will close all these. I will just close the window. Just close the whole window. So I do that so I don't trigger people so much. So go figure. All right. All right. Any last questions? I have been going for an hour. Show us your tabs. No. Let's see if I've got something open that I can show my tabs. Oh, that's a pretty good one. Ooh, oh, that was close. There you go. There's my tabs. See, there's Hive. And here, I can tell you how much I've got on. Oh, yeah, because you stopped it. Add scene. There we go. Now you can't really see that, so let me expand that. But anyway, yeah, you can see all my tabs up there. And I was not initially on this tab. I knew where it was. I knew exactly where it was. Let me see here. If I go back to max voltage. So yeah, somewhere in the range of 16 to 17 gigahash is what I got on Radiant. And so when I get a payout on the mining pool, mining Kiing pool, it gets me about 3,100 Radiant. But obviously that all depends on the amount of hash rate at that particular time. So, alrighty, guys. Well, thank you very much for being here, everybody. I appreciate it. And hit the like button on the way out. And if you like this kind of content, please subscribe. That would be much appreciated. I do find that most of the people that watch my videos actually. What'd you do? It's like, wait a minute. I disappeared there for a second. So you still think she's the best producer? Anyway, Argon's right. You're slipping. You can still see the favicons in the tabs. Yeah, this is not my, this is about what it looks like. Yes, you can still see the icons. Absolutely, you can still see the icons. Never get to the point where you can't see the icons. At that point, then you start having to go over to here. I don't know if anybody even ever uses this, but here's the other thing where you have all your tabs open. Oh yeah, sorry. I'm scrolling, continuing to scroll. By the way, I've done at least 5 or 10 scrolls before this. Those are all my tabs across all my windows. And I usually about every week will go through and start closing tabs, and I haven't done that for a couple weeks. So yeah, it's a little out of control right now. But yeah. Alrighty, guys. Thank you very much for coming. Again, hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber, although I have found that most people that watch my videos are subscribers, but if you are not, please hit it. So, alrighty, guys, thanks again for coming. I appreciate it. And the general is out. Yes, my PC stays on.